Marco Zani, will present us solutions to database performance with Magento EE. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. When I've been asked to run this speech, I didn't know it was the last of the day, so I decided to start softly and bring you to the point later on. Well, first of all, who we are. We are an hosting company known by the market as a player in the hosting space, running business-critical systems and delivering value. We are known as a cloud specialist, and whose value is our brain, not only the servers. And later on, because we are cloud independent, so we represent all of the cloud platforms in the market that better represent the value for our customer. Why decided this speech? Because we run a journey with a customer, with merchants, with partners, and finally with the customer, so end user. And after this journey, we found a common idiom. Let's start from the lesson we learned in terms of keywords coming from sales. Maybe all of you know them and are common. Sales speak about the number of sales, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, the order size, market target, and so on. Marketing. Marketing speaks about site traffic, speak about time on site, page views, conversion. But what about customer? They have to be first in our attention. They prefer speaking about fast loading time, how much time they spend waiting for the page to be loaded. The clearly of the logo and the products the merchant brings them, or about promotion, guest checkout, or other services related to the service the merchant provides them, like social media engagement or customer service. This to say that we definitely knew the right word that represents all these differences. The word is performances. But performances is not only about speed. Speed is important. But like a race car, something else contributes to the success of the performance. One is the chassis that can be represented by the infrastructure. The other one is the brake that bring safety, and so on. Speaking about the ability to run a complete race, so the efficiency of the system in terms of cost, but also economy. This leads us to something we already treat on this stage last year, microservices. Microservices represent a solution in terms of resource and cost optimization, but also in terms of scaling and giving the system the right stability. So this is the clear hook, the connection to what Magento decided to promote through 2.0. One of the main points coming from the new architecture is represented by the opportunity to have a database split, mainly related to the checkout DB, the AMS, so the order management system, and the main related to the browsing. This situation gives us the opportunity to bring you the value of the test we run. Just to have a clear understanding among us about the opportunity to leverage this kind of architecture and bring this opportunity to the market. This is an opportunity to introduce Marco Zani, who will complete the speech demonstrating what we found during our test. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Stefano. That saved me 10 minutes of speech in English. And what about the test? As Stefano said, we were really interested to evaluate this solution because we are always focused on performance, and we would like to understand if with this solution we can scale better Magento 2. What there is behind this kind of feature? Behind this kind of feature is the CQRS. This is the common query responsibility segregation. That is a feature implemented in Magento 2, and formally is a complete separation between command. When I ask for something to the system, I'm not expected to receive the result in the same command. This is to give a simple explanation about what it means. This CQRS was the enabler for the feature in Magento 2. This is mostly how it works. It quite usually now you can find this approach in many software, but for example, for us could be interesting because we tested in Magento 1.9 many times the feature to split the master server from the slave server, and every time we try the solution, we notice that the read we receive on the slave server were really fewer than the expected. This because in Magento 1 there was no such a kind of separation, so many query, also read query, at the end we find them on the master server instead of the slave server because of this lesser approach. So we take a Magento Enterprise Edition. This is a requirement we forgot to tell you at the beginning, probably, because the feature is available only in Magento Enterprise Edition. This is the version we use for the test, and we fill this installation with a medium merchant sample data. You can find the sample data directly in the Magento package, and you can choose between different sample data. We have some tests also with smaller, but we didn't find any significant result. And when we try also with something bigger, but it's also quite long to charge so many products. And about the configuration, we also decide to use all the cache, also the full page cache. This because in Magento 2 the full page cache is now is available also in the Magento community edition. So we would like to use it because we thought it could be quite stupid not to consider this cache in the test. While for the other cache and the session, we decided to use a session to put session in Redis and the other cache on the file system. This because it was not we are not trying to evaluate the performance and of all the system, just about the database. So we decided for this. While for the static and media content, we decided to use the CDN to split to reduce the load on the web server. What about the new application? This, you can see what we use. We use also in this case nothing particularly extreme, but quite a standard approach. We use HR proxy for load balancer and Nginx for web server, and probably the strange thing you can notice is PHP. We don't use PHP 7 because we would like to compare this test also with other tests we are performing, and we don't have still ready PHP 7 solution with Docker container and things. But of course, we suggest to use PHP 7 in production because it's really better than PHP 6. What we use for testing, we use our platform as a service, as named Elastic, and we thought it is a really good choose for testing because we have out of the box many features that are useful when you perform some stress testing. For example, we count that we do more than 100 change in the infrastructure during this test. So for change, I mean increase the RAM, reduce the RAM, increase the core, change the number of the front end, and so on. All this kind of the modification of changes without a platform like this could require much more time. Also for the configuration, with a similar approach, you can distribute, for example, in the front end the same configuration when you change something in all the cluster in few seconds. And one more reason we choose this platform is because use container, and for this solution, the container is a cloudlet. A cloudlet have only 128 megabytes of RAM and 400 megahertz of CPU. This is really granular, so can be possible to evaluate the difference of cost, the scaling, vertical scaling, horizontal scaling in a really deep and a really precise way. So the design of the solution is this one with 3 databases, and this one, of course, with only one. And about the web server, we choose to to use auto-scaling approach, because we don't want that the web server have more value inside the test. What about the metrics? The metrics we use you can see are quite similar to a real world e-commerce. So we have a mix of users that do a different journey inside the e-commerce. For the stress test and for the tool, we use these tools and ETA image run. That is a tool you can use in shell that can be useful to perform many actions on Magento. Magento 2 have already a shell, so you can use also the native shell, but we are used to use this tool from Magento 1.9, so we love to use then load impact for the stress testing. It's a commercial tool, but it's not so expensive, so you can use it for a few dollars. And then we use also New Relic for application performance monitoring to notice what was happening in the application during the test. It's also useful because you can connect load impact with New Relic, so you can have some graphics and some data from New Relic inside directly in the load impact analysis. Okay. What about the configuration of Magento to use the multiple database? It is quite simple. The documentation, the official documentation, you can find at this link. And Magento suggests you two different approaches. One is automatically configuration using the command line, and an ETA image run is the same. Another way is the manual configuration. Of course, if you start from an already populated e-commerce, or from a live commerce, you need to perform the manual configuration. It's a little longer because, of course, you have many tables, many foreign keys to respect. So you have probably to modify the table to eliminate the foreign keys, have some dump, restore, and so on. We used this approach because we didn't read at the beginning that it was the other way, so we already have the setup, and we decided to configure it manually. And finally, there is some suggestion to verify if the configuration was correct. We have also two thanks web format for their help in the configuration. They suggest some tips and tricks that will help for the multi-master configuration, and they also give us the Magento Enterprise Edition for the test. This is basically what is changed in the Magento configuration. You have just to add the two different databases in the database connection, and add the two sections in the resource part of the end of the Magento. Another tip and tricks we used was a little modification to this function of Magento. This is because in the stress test we would like to test the checkout, and of course there is you can use many way to have a realistic situation in the checkout, but sometimes it is difficult because if the user have the same session, the same EP, if you don't have so many IP address to test, it could be harder to reach the number of checkout you would like to test. So in this way, it's not good to do, but we force the session so you can have multiple orders without many problems with Magento. The first test we decided to do is with 200 virtual user and last 10 minutes or some more, and we decided for these steps. You can of course decide different step as you want, but this approach to give also the infrastructure some stability between one step and one other. I start directly from the result. We perform, of course, many tests and of the same scenario, and finally we put them together for an average of the data, and these are the average of the data in the two situations. In both the case, we start from 8 for 10 because also with 50 or 70 virtual users, we need more front end. Of course, more front end. We don't use, as I told you before, physical server or virtual machine, but small containers. So we start already with 8 containers, and in that situation, the auto-scaling arrived to 12 containers. There was no need and no request for scaling the database, so I think it could be good for Magento because it's not heavy resource consuming about the database, and you can see the number of total requests we served in 10 minutes, and the master request per second. Of course, the requests are complete requests also to the static and media. And what is different between the two solutions? Finally, they are not so different probably if you look at them at the very beginning. In fact, also the Ardex index, that is the application performance index that you can find also in New Relic, and is quite used to understand the performance a real user can notice, can live in during during the visit of a website, and was the same finally. But also if the updates were the same, the scenario, if you go more in deep with the detail, are not exactly the same. In fact, for example, if you see the graphic from New Relic, you can see the first graphic is the case with a single database, and the second one is with multiple database. You can see that the second one is more stable, first of all, and then it also slower transaction time in general. And if you see the same situation in the graphic by load impact, you can notice also something more. As I told you before, we integrate the matrix from New Relic in load impact, and the matrix was about the web transaction total time in the checkout, and this is a line in black. And you can see that in the second test, that is the one with multiple database, this line is probably the line more different compared to the other stress test. So if we consider again the updex index, we can say that probably the index is the same because how is implemented and how the index is built. Finally, if you consider the total number of visitors, the index tell you how much of them are satisfied and how much are not. Finally, you can have the same updex index with different situations. In the first situation, you have much more unsatisfied customers, probably because they want to check out, but they have time to wait for this. I'm sorry, there is not the scala, but we are near to 10 seconds to wait for the cart. While in the second test, you reach 10 seconds when you have approximately 150 virtual users. So, what about the conclusion? Is probably, in our opinion, is not a matter of speed and performance, but more of stability. And we think that this solution could be useful if you have probably much larger shop, or if you have some other system or API that maybe you can use Magento for eCommerce, but you don't use directly the front end. So you can use the second database directly and without having impact on the whole system. And probably another benefit would be if you have some problem, or if you have some task from the backend. In many big e-commerce now you can find many people working the backend, and with the solution there is no need to scale with a complicated multi-master solution, because you can have the checkout and separated database. Consider also that you can of course optimize the cost, because you can scale only the database you need to scale, and in Magento Community Edition with 2.0 with Magento 2, you don't have anymore the possibility to have multiple databases. So while in Magento 1 you can have master slave, now you have to buy the enterprise or to create a multi-master proxy to scale the database. Some link. The first one is to our platform. If you want to also to have some tests from yourself, you can come to our stand and we can give you also credit to test. And there are two packages we use or we are working on about Magento cluster. That's